I've learned that if you sit back, create your work, and you're not actually putting yourself out there, nobody's going to come to you. You have to put yourself out there. You have to become good. You have to build value. Value is extremely important. Build value on yourself and on your work, and you'll see people will come to you and say, we want to do this work.
When you look at Zambia, well, there's a lot of like graphic designers, people who are doing photography and all that, but when it comes to 3D, there's only a handful. There are also a few that are really good at creative work, and you are one of those people that are getting really amazing work. Why do you think that is so?
So the reason why there are a few 3D graphic designers is because, one, 3D actually requires you to put in lots of work, like lots of work. You don't have to be distracted. You have to sit down. If you want to design and make something look as realistic as this plant, you have to sit down and create it, study it, do whatever it takes.
Just moving away from your work that you do, the men's conference podcast, how did that start?
I hope I don't get arrested for this. I opened a page called so it went so viral. So I was like, huh? This thing is real. Then after that, I tried to log in. I found that the account was closed. I opened another page called Men's Conference Podcast. I even saw that some guy was like, look, next year I want to open a podcast. I want to have discussions on men, modern day dating, self-improvement, all that I like, because it seems that the relationship culture, it's messed up.
Yeah.
It's crazy. If you are designing, let's say this, like I said, what do you call this? What did you call it?
The thing for opening.
The thing for opening. Yeah. The thing for opening was the most complicated thing.
Quick one, before we go any further, please remember to like and to subscribe and to share. And I promise to bring you the best and most valuable content. Hey man, how are you?
I'm fantastic, and how are you doing?
Yeah, this is how it starts.
Yeah, at it.
Yeah. So we were recording this for the second time, for those that don't know.
Yeah.
So our first recording, there was some mistake, so the camera lens broke.
Yeah.
It fell down from my previous shoot that I was doing. And so I didn't realize there was no physical damage. I didn't see any. But so I just moved on and we started recording with you without realizing, not knowing that it wasn't focusing properly. So so I'm really grateful and thankful that you are here again. No, thank you for understanding.
I know, I understand.
Yeah.
Things like this actually happen.
Yeah, I was really crushed because when I was editing, I just saw like,
the conversation was fine.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. How do I tell everyone? And now I have to tell the other guests as well. Yeah.
I'm sure he's going to.
He's accepted. He's coming back again.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Things like this actually happen. You can't control it.
Yeah.
But someone was trying to obviously...
Yeah.
Is against me.
DC.
No.
He's going to speak some truth.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But how's everything?
Just okay, man. I don't know about you.
I love the weather. Not the current weather right now.
Not the current weather.
No, it's too hot.
It's too hot, but it's cold today. I think it's been the coldest since June started.
Really?
Yeah.
No. Right. It's hot now.
You're feeling hot now?
I'm feeling hot. I love the cold. I'm a guy that loves the cold.
But it's cold
I can sleep well. I can think well.
Oh, yeah.
I can do work well. In the cold.
Yeah. Okay. Seems like you're like a guy from London or something.
Everybody keeps saying, I need to go that side.
Because I was even thinking that this was very light. Maybe I should put on maybe something warmer or something. All right, man. Thank you so much for coming through again. Yeah, I really appreciate you coming back again, and it means a lot. And I'm hoping this conversation will be as fire as before, or more fire than the one before.
It shall be.
Yeah,
I believe.
But thanks for coming through. So before we get into anything and talk about your work and the work that you love to do, I think the first time that I came across your work was back in 2020. Yeah, through Facebook. Yeah, I just used to see this guy posting these 3D, like they're so real, they were so convincing. Like, I think I mentioned last time to say, like there was one where you did, like I think there was a stylus on the table. I think there was a red cup on a table or something like that. Yeah, that was so realistic. The textures, the lighting, everything. It was really convincing. It looks so real. And I'm like, this is the guy.
Till now, I still look at it. I'm like, okay, I need to do a lot of work on this. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't look real. So I was like, okay, next time I'm going to improve my skills and just make it more real, like this.
Yeah, like this.
It has to be. And I look at reality to say, okay, it has to match what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, but thank you very much.
Yeah, so I've been following your work. I know you don't know this, but yeah, I've been the guy in the background looking at your work, and
yeah, like dude, I had no idea. So when I went back to my work, I'm like, this guy has always been there, can't she?
Yeah.
This is the guy that does the Do It podcast. What's going on?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is good. This is fun. This is great. Can't you, there's someone out there that's seeing the work, you know? And it's really important, you know. At least it's important for some of us that have to keep going, you know, because it's motivating, you know, for us to just continue working, because there are people like you. The Do It podcast that's actually bringing creatives on board to talk about their work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely appreciate that, man. But thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. You know, I think the thing I discovered about this thing is that you never know who is looking. You may post, you may get one like or something like that, but there's always that someone who's like watching in the background, and you're inspiring them, you're motivating them. I think I also received a message from someone. They were just saying about how like all the creatives that I've brought here, like they've inspired them to even be sure about them pursuing the creative path, because they're seeing that other people are also like doing this and making a living out of it. So they were really inspired, and I was like really touched, and I was like, oh really? Like someone has been motivated to continue pursuing this path. And I relate, because when I was also like starting out, I wasn't sure like even though I was in school, I was just like, should I really continue with this path, the creative field? Because I can't see anyone in Zambia to really inspire me. But there were people out there, but their voices couldn't be heard.
Yeah, true.
And so even starting the podcast, my aim was, let me bring on other creatives so that someone out there, you never know, they'll be inspired by the people who come to this podcast.
No, very true. Very true. No, that's nice. You know, I get to see because I've been seeing your podcast for a while now on our LinkedIn. I was like, when am I going to come on this podcast? Am I worthy to come on this podcast? You know?
Yeah.
But no, thank you very much for actually having me here. I appreciate it a lot. So, yeah.
Now, before we get into the stuff and the work that you do, how was it like growing up?
It was fun. It was very fun, very creative, you know. I mean, it was... I was a troublemaker when I was young. I used to like exploring. I used to like going out a lot. I used to like discovering stuff. I used to watch a lot of things when growing up, you know, when it came to animations, when it came to movies, when it came to, you know, just other things, watching people do what they have to do, you know, listening to music, all these other things. So growing up for me was a fun experience. At least I got to explore life at a very young age, you know, and I got to interact with a lot of people younger, older than me and whatnot. And for me, it wasn't a boring lifestyle that I lived. It was the rebellious lifestyle, not to the extreme where you give someone a heart attack, but a rebellious lifestyle where I got to explore. You know, they'll tell you come home at 18 hours, I'm there 20 hours, I'm out. You know, but eventually, as I was growing up, I got to think to myself to say, at least I learned a couple of things when I was young. You know, so for me, I appreciate the life that I lived when I was a boy. You know, because I got to talk to a lot of people. I got to have a lot of friends. You know, when growing up, you know, because a lot of my friends would just come at my house. My grandfather would be like, why do you have all these friends coming at your house? I'm like, I don't know. You know? So so my growing up was actually good. It was fun, it was great. It wasn't a down moment. You know?
So what were you interested in? Like the stuff that you love to do?
I was interested in a lot of movies. I'm a movie guy. Hardcore movie, big time. My favorite genre is horror movies. I blame my uncles and aunties for that. Because that was the favorite genre. So they introduced me to horror movies. In fact, they never even introduced me. I was there, you know, seated watching a horror movie. I'm like, because the first horror movie that I watched when I was young, and this was my uncle, was Friday the 13th. Yes, those were one of the first movies. And you know, when you are young, you don't have to watch such movies. But my uncle was like, eventually you watch. So I got into that, and I got to think like, how do they make these things? What happens and whatnot? But when growing up, I was highly invested in movies a lot. Movies, cartoons, animations, and so on. Music came later. I was mostly interested in just watching movies. Then after horror movies, then came action. Action, then came sci-fi. Sci-fi, then came a bit of comedy, romance, all these other things. Yeah, but I did love watching movies, whether at cinemas or whether at home. It's just my go-to therapy. Even now, whenever there's a premiere at the cinema, I'm there. Like, I'm there.
Yeah.
Tell me what movie I haven't watched.
Yeah.
Sinners.
Ballerina.
What? That has it come out? It has come out. Yeah, it has come out.
I think it came out yesterday.
Exactly. So I'm gonna watch that. Now I'm gonna watch that. I saw the trailers. Now I'm gonna watch it.
The Accountant.
The Accountant too. I had a lot of things that I was watching at that time, so I haven't watched that one yet.
See,
but
you haven't watched them.
No. Okay, tell me some other movie that I haven't. Okay, tell me.
No, those are the only two that come to mind.
Because
they're the latest.
Please. So The Accountant, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you how it is. But I'll watch The Accountant. But Sinners, Thunderbolts, what are the
Roblox.
Sorry, what?
Roblox.
What's that?
Is it Roblox? From that game. You see, you don't even know it.
Oh, you're talking about that Minecraft game.
Oh yeah, Minecraft. Is it Minecraft?
Yeah, Minecraft.
That's Roblox.
I have no idea.
Oh yeah, it's Minecraft. Yeah, you're
Minecraft.
Right.
I'm not a big fan of Minecraft.
Oh yeah,
I've never played this before.
Yeah.
I know the haters.
I think it's for kids mostly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not like a big fan. I see a lot of people playing it, but when the movie came out, when they said they was actually making it, I wasn't interested. I can't watch it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my life.
Yeah.
I grew up in a family full of people that loved movies. Till now, they still love movies. So I'm that guy that loves to watch stuff.
Yeah.
Movies and whatnot. But now I've expanded from movies to podcasts, from podcasts to what the music videos, like how they make music videos, all these other things, documentaries, all that stuff. I can sit down and watch a whole documentary for like 3 hours. Yeah, because I want to expand my mind and whatnot. So I'm a watcher. I'm a watcher. I'm a big time watcher. Those days I wasn't a YouTube fan, but now I'm a YouTube guy.
Yeah. So what do you think sparked your interest in the creative field when you were young?
When I was young,
was it did you ever see yourself being in the creative field?
No, I didn't. The moment I told myself I want to be in this creative field is when I watched a movie called The Covenant. So there was this one scene. So The Covenant is about these guys that actually have powers and whatnot. One of the starring actors was Sebastian Stan, the guy that actually plays Bucky in The Winter Soldier, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, and Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Yes. So he was actually one of the villains. So one of these good guys actually was at a cliff, and then he jumped. And then the camera was panning him for a 360. And then he landed. And I was like, how did they do that? How did they, till this day, I was just like, how did I get interested in that? I was wondering, how did they do that? I started to do my research. What software did they use? At that time, I used to call it PS1 graphics. I never knew. Yeah, I never knew it was 3D.
PS1?
Exactly, yes. I never knew it was 3D or anything like that. I was like, how did they manage to do this PS1 graphics? How did they manage? Until I met a friend of mine, and he was actually also vast in 3D graphics, and he told me, this is the softwares they used and whatnot, ZBrush, 3ds Max, what. I was like, really? ZBrush is what caught my attention because of the name. So I was like, what's this? So I started to do some research. At that time, I had just got my new phone in school. So I started to do my research at home. I was like, what's ZBrush? I started to research, it's a software that actually creates organic stuff like humans, creatures, and whatnot. So I started to do my research on that, and I was like, I wonder how you acquire this software. I did a lot of research. I was like,
pretty expensive.
pretty expensive. And then it also required high level specs for the computer and whatnot. I was like, why am I going to get this computer first? You know. So I sat down with my grandfather. I told me what you want to be. I told him I want to be. At that time, I used to call it like a graphic designer. You know, but I wasn't really versed on the whole aspect of graphic design. I never knew like there were different, you know, segments or different departments in graphic designing. So I wasn't really specific. So, because I even remember when I bumped into a lecturer at UNZA when I was young, when I was still in high school. He was interested because he saw us wearing uniform and he asked me, yo, which school are you at? I told him I'm at, that time I think I was at Northmead. He said, oh, I'm at Northmead and whatnot. Oh, okay. What do you want to become when you grow up? I was like, I don't want to become a graphic designer. But like, a graphic designer? You know, I was like, a graphic designer is a guy that like designs this 2D stuff. I was like, no, that's not what I want to become. I want to become like those guys that create like those.
Oh,
yeah.
Hollywood
So I
level.
failed to explain it.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't know at that point. You know, I failed to explain it. And it was like, what's that now? So I was like, okay, this man doesn't know anything. So I think let me just accept whatever he's talking about. You know. So at that point, I already knew what I wanted to become. I wanted to become like a 3D graphic designer, whether it's modeling plans, product designs, or characters. That's what I wanted to become. So The Covenant was actually the first movie that got me interested in 3D. Yeah. Because of that scene. Just that scene. I still remember it. Yeah. That scene. It felt like it was yesterday. You should. Yeah. You know?
Because even if The Covenant I know is a recent one.
Sure.
I think that was 2023. No, 2024. The Covenant is about this military soldier who like gets lost and whatnot by Guy Ritchie.
Oh, the one with Jake Gyllenhaal in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's also called The Covenant.
That one was a brilliant movie.
Yeah, that's a brilliant movie.
Anything Jake Gyllenhaal, I'm there. I'm there. You know? So not that one, but the old one. Yeah.
I think I haven't seen that one. I should have a look at it.
Yeah, it's good. I think I watched it like about 3 times at that time. I think 3 or 4 times. Then the last time I watched it again was I think 2010. Yeah, somewhere around there. So yeah, it's a very good movie. Check it out. That's the scene that actually got me into 3D. Yeah.
Okay, so now for moving on from learning acquiring the software and the machine, how did you know that this is what I want to do?
It was the interest. It was the interest of 3D. It actually really, like, it put me in. It's like when you see something and you know this is for me. Yeah, that actually put me in. I was like, you know what? I think this is something that I want to do. You know, so I did a lot of research on Cinema 4D. I did a lot of research on ZBrush. Why is ZBrush and Cinema 4D different? Why? Why is 3ds Max, ZBrush, and Cinema 4D different? Why can't they just be the same? Why do people have to create different softwares? What's going on? You know, until I had to do some research, I'm like, oh, okay. So ZBrush is mainly used for character designing. Cinema 4D is mainly used for like products, and 3ds Max is mostly for animation. That's the strong suit for it. You know. And also product modeling as well. That's also its strong suit. So I sat down and I began to understand. I'm like, oh, these are the softwares. They've got like different kind of capabilities that each 3D artist would actually find interesting. So I told myself, okay, before I dive into ZBrush, because ZBrush needed certain things, in order for you to create a character, you have to have a graphic tablet and a very powerful computer. And at that time, I was using my cousin's laptop, and I would use a mouse to just sculpt. It was hard. It was hard. It was hard, But I told myself, let me put this aside and let me start using Cinema 4D. So I started using Cinema 4D for a while, maybe 8 months, 1 year. I started to understand the software, and that was my go-to software when it comes to creating 3D stuff, like phones, photos, products, all these other things, So then the computer crashed. I was like, damn, what am I going to tell my cousin? And he was I was like, damn, what am I going to tell his mother? What am I going to do? Until I just look, I was using the software, it crash the computer.
That's how massive it was.
Yeah. So it's just like, she just kept quiet and never said anything. So, okay, fine, it happens and whatnot. You know, it was an old computer. You know, and the boy was young. He wasn't even using it.
Oh yeah.
You know, so that's how I escaped. You know,
I've seen those memes where like someone is like getting hit from the desktop or the near the CPU because of how hot the software makes the computer to be hot.
I've also seen that as well. And I'm like, I can relate. I'm like, I can relate. You know, so these softwares are so powerful that they even heat up your computer or even fry the computer. So that wasn't my first time. That wasn't the first time. The second time was when I was working at a certain company. I was a 3D artist as well at that time. I'm working for them under. And all of a sudden, I'm designing, just blacks out. And I'm thinking, is it Zesco? What's going on? So I see there's two lights. And I'm like, don't tell me. I turn it on. It goes on, it goes off. I was like, it goes on, it goes. And this is the computer that my uncle bought me.
Wow.
You know, at that time, it was like about 10 pin. You know, 10 pin was big.
Yeah, like 10,000 is a lot.
So I was like, damn it. You know, I tried to turn it on. It goes on, it switches off. I was like, so I took it to one of the IT guys, and they told me, I know your motherboard is fried. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I started to think, I was like, the second time.
Yeah.
So I was like, these softwares, what the hell is going on? You know, so that's how I began to understand, like, so this software needs bigger RAM, bigger space, you know, processing speed, you know, everything just has to be bigger. So what I did is that, I put that computer aside and started using other companies' computer. And I started now developing my skills in 2D, 3D, and I raised so much money that I managed to now buy, you know, build actually. I managed to build my own computer, and that was like, I think 5 years ago or 6. And until now, it's
up and running.
Yeah. Even if the software is heavy, it would just give me a warning sign, and then I have to close like a couple of tabs, and it's back. Yeah. Like it gives me a warning sign.
What are the specs?
The specs I have, the graphic card is an NVIDIA Quadro P6000, 24 gigabyte of RAM, and then 32 GB of RAM. 2 terabyte SSD. I've forgotten the motherboard.
Terabyte SSD.
Yes. I've forgotten the motherboard, the type of motherboard. I've just forgotten. And then also Core i9 10th generation. So
Core i9.
Yeah.
That's a powerful machine.
Bro, I invested.
Yeah.
So
2 terabyte is
it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Like when I turn it on, it's just there. Like I don't have to wait for it to load.
SSD is really
I just turn it on. It's there. And I'm like, wow. I open this software. I can open like multiple software at the same time, you know, working simultaneously. So yeah, I had to invest in that computer. I invested in a mouse as well. Very, very good mouse, a Logitech mouse. Headphones just recently got spoiled.
Yeah.
Those are very good headphones. And then also the monitor as well, which is 4K. So I had
4K.
I had to
I would love to see that setup.
I think I'll send you pictures.
Yeah.
So I invested in that, and now I've been able to like create. That's how I was able to like create those other 3D works because they needed so much processing power, you know, to put in the textures, to sculpt, you know, human beings, you know, characters, because those things would go up to like 1 million polygons. And that's like a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot, you know. So, yeah, it's been going well so far. So it's been good. So, yeah.
When you look at Zambia, like there's a lot of like graphic designers, people who are doing photography and all that. There's so many of them. But when it comes to 3D, there's only a handful. And those same few, there are also a few that are really good at great work. And you are one of those people that are getting really amazing work. Why do you think that is so?
So the reason why there are a few 3D graphic designers is because, one, 3D actually requires you to put in lots of work. Like lots of work. You don't have to be distracted. You have to sit down. If you want to design and make something look as realistic as this plant, you have to sit down and create it, study it, do whatever it takes. Because if you look at these 3D companies in America, let's say, for instance, Waiter Digital, yeah, those guys, before they create something, they have to actually go out there in the field and get to study maybe plants, animals, insects, all these guys. Like, they actually study to see how it moves, the kind of texture it has. You know, like I remember this movie, Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 1. They actually had to go out there and study how a lizard moves, how a lizard's scales are placed on it, on it. Then they had to study how it interacts with the environment. Like, they did a lot of work. So all that, if you want to be a 3D artist, you have to go in, you have to study its textures, everything. So one is because it requires a lot of time. Second, it requires also processing power. You know, 3D is an expensive field. It's not something you can just dive into. Oh no, I've got just a computer and how to design a human. Like I said, designing just a human face would have like 1 million polygons, and that's enough to crash a computer. You know, so it requires like a lot of patience, a lot of practice, a lot of time, a lot of money, and just a lot to do. So most people just want like the fast thing, like, oh, let me design this, let me design that, let me design that, which is also a good thing as well. But with 3D, it requires a lot of patience and a lot of time, you know, to just sit down. Because I remember when I told myself, you know what, I'm done creating products. Let me now start going into organic stuff. Let me start creating human beings, faces, hands, whatever. I had to lock in for 7 months, 6 to 7 months. I had to lock in. I wasn't going out. Like, I wasn't going to lecture with friends. I was just there. I'm just there, designing. I get it wrong today. The next day I improve. The next day I'm improving. 6 months down the line, I released my work. People are like, hey, bro. How? I'm like, no, you don't understand what I went through. You don't
sleepless nights.
Exactly. It was sleepless nights. You know, you find out design up to like 11 hours. You know, I'm just there designing. You know, then a client wants some work, I just touch a bit of work, and then I go back to designing. But how I did that is that it's not like I started designing, you know, for hours. I used to, you know, do it for 15 minutes a day, 15 minutes, 15 minutes a day for a week. And then the second week I would, you know, increase it to like 30 minutes. The other week I would increase it to an hour. The other week I would increase it to 2 hours. And then my brain just got used now into just designing until, the hours just increased. Then, here we are.
Yeah. So now when it comes to 3D, what do you think are like the biggest misconceptions?
That you can't get good. Like, you never get good. You can get good if you just put in the work. If you just put practice, you can get good, believe you me. People think that if I was to design something today, if it's hard, then I'll never get good. You will get good if you just put in the time and the effort. And then the other misconception is that you can never find clients. You will find clients. You will. There's always someone that wants something new, something just extraordinary. Someone just wants something new. So those are the two misconceptions, that 3D doesn't have clients. Second, 3D, you can never be good. You know, so those are the two misconceptions that I know. Yeah.
So now to those that are aspiring to be in this field, because I also remember I started with Cinema 4D. Yeah, it was really hard. Cinema 4D was really hard. The first time that I came across it. Well, I think I was successful like in creating like a bottle and then wrapping the label around it. I think wrapping the label around it was like the hardest part.
Really?
Yeah, and also lighting was hard for me. Textures as well, making sure that the texture is high quality, is sitting in the right place, making sure you prepare whatever you're going to wrap, like the label, how do you wrap it properly? So that was, like really difficult. But again, I think I moved from that place where I was working and went to some other place. But I got so busy such that I stopped. But then I came across some other guy who was like really good at, he was using Blender. He was so good at it. And then Yes, I tried it and it was easier than Cinema 4D. I was just like, this is really good. I was not even wasting my time using Cinema 4D. Yeah, so that's how it went.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think after that I kind of stopped because other things came in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was just like, yeah, this is good. This is something I would love to learn at some point.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there to teach you, bro.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, from learning from the best. For people that come to you that are aspiring to break into the field in the 3D space, what advice would you give them? Or do you give them?
I'll tell them to never give up, no matter how terrible your art is. Just continue going. Accept criticism as well. I did accept criticism, like from professionals. Like I was grilled, man. I was grilled.
Yeah.
I'd post like, look at my work. They would grill me. 100 comments are there, and I'm like, okay. But I accepted it, and I had to go back and practice. So I'll tell 3D guys to accept criticism, work on improving yourself, watch lots of tutorials on the small artists, and and this is something that a lot of people, they think that you should never watch the small guys. Watch the small guys, watch the big guys, watch both of them, and compare as well, because you might think you're better than the small guys, but the small guys are better than you. So you need to surpass that. And when you surpass that, now you have to get close to the big guys. So that's my mindset as well. So just, because even if when someone creates something that's not better than what I've created, I still learn from them. I'm like, okay, here, this design, he did it good, but this other part, he didn't design it quite well. You know, and I also get to think, where's his mindset as well? You know, all those things. So I would tell them to accept criticism, practice every day. If you want to become a very good 3D artist, put in the hours, lock in, just lock in on your work. Don't give up, no matter how terrible your art is. You will become good even in the next couple of months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, you will become good. You can never go wrong on consistency. Just do it. There's something about the brain. The brain can adapt to anything. So do not give up. So that's what I would tell them. And that's what I've told them.
That's what you tell them.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. So now when it comes to the 3D space in Zambia, like it's one of the small fields that a few people are engaged in. So now what do you think is the state like when it comes to, for example, someone learns, what do you think is the state when it comes to opportunities? Like
I believe that
the challenges.
Yeah. I believe that opportunities are there. Like I said, people are looking for new things. You know, like for instance, your podcast, people never thought there would be like a creative podcast. Then they thought of like entertainment podcasts and whatnot, but they are creative podcasts. This is an opportunity that you have presented to other people and other creatives to come on board, like myself, and speak about what I've been doing over the past few years, you know. So like if you just create something that someone might think they're not looking for, but deep down in their subconscious, they are looking for it, you know. So you have to create your own opportunities. That's what I believe. Create your own opportunities, especially if you like a girl, you know, you see her from afar. You're not going to sit back and say, no, that girl, she has to like me. No, you have to create that opportunity for her to like you. Whether it's dressing well, whether it's speaking well, whether it's approaching her, whether it's doing something that's actually going to pique her interest. So you have to create an opportunity for these guys to actually come to you. So I've learned that if you sit back, create your work, and you're not actually putting yourself out there, nobody's going to come to you. You have to put yourself out there. You have to become good. You have to build value. Value is extremely important. Build value on yourself and on your work, and you'll see people will come to you and say, we want to do this for you. I've received like 100, I think over 100 messages from people saying they want to learn, they want to do this, but time. It's just time. They want to learn 3D. I'm like, do you have the time? Do you have the patience, you know, to sit down and practice all this? Do you have also the resources as well to buy the gadgets that you need for 3D? You might say, oh, you creating this, for instance, you creating parts on Daka was very good. I want to learn that. Do you have the resources? First of all, you know. So it's I would say it's not easy and it's not hard. That's what I would say. But just create the time and the opportunity. Opportunities are there. They're there, believe you me. It's just that people see it. They see that it's not there because they're not diving into it and they're not creating their own world, their own opportunity. Yeah. Like for instance, 2D graphics, the Photoshop and all that stuff, right? It's become now widely accepted. Everybody knows graphic. When people say we are a graphic designer, in their heads, like 2D artist and because they created that opportunity. They opened the doors. So it's also for 3D artists to open the doors as well. And you see, we're going to have a large majority of 3D artists in Zambia or in Africa. Look at SA. They open the doors for 3D artists. And they're a lot. Look at the adverts they're creating.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, pretty amazing. And also Uganda is actually getting into that as well. So, yeah. So, just create your own opportunities.
Create your own opportunities, right? Yeah. I think that's really important. Also, mindset, like you mentioned, mindset is also so important. Yeah. And also resources.
Exactly.
You need to have something to start at least.
Yeah, 3D
you have to invest.
Expensive field.
Yeah, it's an expensive field. David, so this is called Do It.
Yeah.
Here we don't just talk. We go in. We go practical. Yeah. So on this segment, we're just gonna go into one of your projects that you did, your 3D work. You're just going to break down your thought process or your creative process. Yeah, and give us some tips. Sounds good?
Yeah, it does. It does. Sounds amazing.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm 100% ready. I've been ready for 30 years.
Exactly. Cool. That's so confident. All right, let's get into it. So this project, sparkling drink, lime.
It was.
So so I'll just play it first. Yeah. Nice. Okay, so now walk me through what was the brief like.
So, first of all, when at that time I was working for an agency, they had told me, we want you to create a product that has never been seen before because we want to pitch it to a client. So I was like, okay, what product are you looking at? They said anything to do with a cane. So like, I got you. So it took me about 3-4 days to actually sit and just conceptualize the product. And I asked them, do you have like a label that I could use? Like, no, everything you have to create from scratch. I'm like, even a fake name? So he was like, yeah, even a fake name. I was like, okay, cool. No problem. Let's do this. So I did like lots of research. But before I actually dive into designing, what I do is that I like to look at lots of concepts online, whether it's Google, whether it's Pinterest, whether it's YouTube and whatnot. So first I would look at canes, on Google. I'll get to see what kind of cane is needed. Sometimes I would even go and buy a cane, like a drink, and then take a look at it and just shine it in the air and say, okay, how's the light bouncing from this cane? How is it looking? How is it looking even on my hand? All these other things, So I just don't create, because at the end of the day, the human, the eyesight, we know exactly what's real and what's not. We know that this thing can't be held on my hand. It looks too big. It looks too small. So I had to figure out all that, I had to also get like a measuring tape just to measure the bottle and just put it in the software as well. So all those things. That's what I would do. And then after I've figured out how my cane would look like, I would go on YouTube and check out adverts of canes. Like I would search and search and search. And then I'll be like, okay, this is something that I sort of like. This is something that I'm looking for. And then as you can see on the cane, there are droplets. There are droplets, and there are a bit of like fingerprints here. Yeah,
I like those details. Just looking at it, like,
exactly.
This is so good.
Because there's nothing clean in this world. Like there's nothing clean. Like there's texture around fingerprints, droplets, and whatnot. So in order for this thing to actually look real, certain details have to be added, like fingerprints. Like as you can see here, as you can see this fingerprint. You know, I had to actually add those small details.
Yeah.
You know, even the droplets as well, I had to add that. These were just like standard droplets, so not like droplets that would like run through. That would have just destroyed my computer. So,
Oh, really? When if they were moving?
Yes, if they were moving.
So it's a lot of work when they're moving.
It's a lot of work. Just dropping down, it would fry the computer, my guy.
Oh, so they were just static.
They was just static, just there. So I'd also look at how the lighting would actually bounce on the top of the can as well, and how the lighting would actually bounce on the side. So I would actually just put up my cane even in real time, put it up, and then just study how light bounces from the cane when it's seated. Just when it's seated. Then sometimes I'd play around and just like, you know, spin it around just to see how light would bounce from that cane when it's actually rotating. So all that. So after I'm done with that, now I start to create. Now I start to like sketch. Either I sketch or I get like a cane that's online, and then I get to model it or create it in Cinema 4D. Cinema 4D is my go-to software. It's always been my go-to software for years. So that's what I would do. So I would create it. When I create it, I'd create parts. So this small part that you see is alone. It's solo. This other part is solo. This other part is solo. So so I would create like just parts of it. I wouldn't create everything.
Yeah. So what's the basic shape that you start with? Since in this case,
I would start with a body.
The cylinder. Right?
Yeah.
Like the basic shape that you start with.
Yes,
Right?
the basic shape that I'll start with the cylinder because it's faster. Then after that, I would go with the top. Then after that, I would go with this now. You know, I've just forgotten what this is called. The
thing for opening.
Yes.
You know, we just call it the thing for opening.
yeah. I like that. The thing for opening. So that's what, this was actually my last part because it was a bit complicated. I had to figure that out. I had to like research on a lot of YouTube videos to figure out how to create that. Some of them I would not even watch like Cinema 4D videos. I'd watch like 3ds Max videos because they're similar in some way. So I'd actually use Cinema 4D 3ds Max skills and use it on Cinema 4D skills. So that's something that I also had to learn. I had to adapt my mind, like because there's no tutorial for this specific product that you want to design. I had to watch other videos that use different software. So I had to, because these guys have got the same language. It's just interface is different. It's just different. Like extrude is in Cinema 4D, it's in 3ds Max, it's in Blender. So you have to know and understand all those concepts and names. So so basically after I create all that, now I get to add textures either in Cinema 4D or in Keyshot. But because it was needed immediately, I had to use Keyshot. Keyshot is a rendering software. It's also a texturing software, a fast texturing software. So I used I added textures like the silver texture on the top of the can, even on the body of the can as well, and the bottom as well. And then the label, I had to create it in Photoshop. It was like just like fast thing, fast thing. And then after that, I had exported it to Keyshot, and then I had to add like droplets and the fingerprints as well.
So now for example, when it comes to adding color, did you just apply like a metal texture to the top of it?
Yes, I applied a metal texture. So Keyshot has got like a library. So there's plastic, metal, there's emerald, there's all these other things, these other different textures for it. So I had to like be specific and say, okay, this is the kind. And I had to research actually the kind of metal they use on these real life cans. Like I had to research, and then I had to apply it. So basically that's what I actually did. And then after that, I now went into animation now. I did animation, and then this is the result that we got. So when I showed my boss, he called me, David, come into the office, and I'm like, did I mess up? He stood up, he shook my hand. I was like, okay, what have I done? I was like, this is brilliant. How did you make this? And it was the laptop that I was using. It wasn't the computer. that I was using. So it was a laptop that I was using, and it came out quite well, and he was very happy about it. And from that time we had been getting till this day. I still work with him, and whenever he needs like any 3D stuff, he calls me up. And I'm here.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've seen videos where like you need to make sure that your wireframe is clean and whatnot, all those things.
Okay. So with that, you have to with Cinema 4D. You don't have to mess up the polygons. You have to make sure that your wireframe is clean in order for your labels to actually sit nicely on the product. So you have to like literally design it like in a mathematical way. So if you are designing, let's say this, like I said, the top, what do you call this? What did you call it?
The thing for opening.
The thing for opening. Yeah. The thing for opening was the most complicated thing I had to create. So like I said, I had to like get a 3ds Max skills in order for me to have a clean wireframe. Yeah. So exactly. So that when I add the textures, it doesn't look messy.
Oh, so if the surface or the foundation is there's something wrong with it, even it will also affect the appearance.
Yes, it will affect the appearance. Because even like I said, the eyes, you can't lie to the eyes. They will tell. They're like,
something's wrong here.
There's something wrong. It looks good, but there's something wrong. Like for instance, this part here, it looks 3D. Yeah, I can tell it looks 3D. But if the other scenes, they sort of look real. Like maybe like this scene, because of how the lighting was placed. So, even lighting is also very, very important. So with lighting, what I do is that I look at product photography, like real life product photography, and then I also get to see how they place the lights as well around that product, So I had to do that, do research as well. Sometimes I would also, there's a guy that I follow, is a photographer. I would also go on his page and take a look how his lighting was placed. And he would also explain it in just like still images on how his lighting was placed. And then I would also follow that in softwares and whatnot, and then come up with that.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So like I said, it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
it's a lot of time.
it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
No, I've seen this and I've tried it, so I know like it takes a lot.
Yeah.
Especially with the lighting. So how many lights did you use in this scene?
So in here I used about 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yes, but some of them are like dim, some of them are brighter. Yeah. So and then the background I had to use a white plain background, like proper white plain background for the can to actually stand out. So I had to place the light also behind. I had to place it on the side, and I had to add like a black, in some scenes, a black box, I should say, so that we can have that shadow. Yeah.
A clean shadow to make it more real.
Exactly.
For proper lighting.
Exactly. Even the lighting actually had to be bounced on the textures as well, just so that you can see that, there's a fingerprint, someone touched it.
Yeah.
So so that's basically my work process. It's a lot, but
again, there's also like ensuring that the lights are properly, because this is a good light. Like, the way it's bouncing looks proper.
Yes. So
but I always have like a challenge of like the soft boxes will be showing in the reflection of the can.
So there's a part, there's a setting where you have to unclick it. It says, what does it say? It says show softbox on reflection. So you have to like switch off that. Yeah.
So as easy as that.
Yes, as easy as that.
Okay.
You just have to switch it off. Switch
I
it
used
off.
to struggle, so it could affect the outcome. Because
I see.
now I had to move the light, but still a light and it will still reflect.
Yes. So sometimes these things reflect on surfaces and whatnot. So you have to switch that setting off. There's some things it looks good. There's some products where it doesn't look good. Yeah. So so basically that's my work process.
Okay, nice.
And it took how long did it take this to render? I think about 4 days. Yeah, 4 days.
Wow, 4 days?
Yeah, 4 days. That's
Wait,
the time
what?
where we never faced load shedding.
That's the only time you never faced load shedding.
So I'll just leave the laptop and it will just render 4 days because this is in high quality. So at that point, I also didn't know that for it to render faster, I needed to like reduce the quality. So in my head, I was like, 4K, it will render faster.
Oh, 4K.
Yeah. You know?
That's a lot of power.
So that's how it took a while until I had to do some more research. I was like, that's why. That's why. So, yeah. So that's the process.
So now what is the final thing that you do? What convinces you to say this is done? This is good?
If I show people, I say, guys, take a look. I don't tell them I created it. I say, like, guys, take a look at this. What do you think? It looks real. It's nice. Who made this advert? Does this drink exist? I'm like, no, I actually created it from scratch. You're lying. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to release it out there. You know, so I just get people to say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? You know, and then they'll tell me, it looks real. It looks good. Why are you asking me? I'm like, no, because I created it from scratch. I created it. Yeah. I did all that. I explained. They're like, what? You're telling me this is not real? I'm like, no, it's not real. How? I'm like, just know I created it. It is what it is. Yeah. And boom. Yeah. That's where we are.
Okay, so now, final question. What advice would you give to someone starting a project in order for it to be successful?
Do lots of research before you actually begin. When I take a look at behind the scenes when people are creating animations, they first do a lot of research. Okay, what are we trying to achieve? What is the end product? You know, you visualize it. You don't just sit down and just create. You visualize what you're trying to create. In order for you to create what you want, you have to first sit down and plan. So when you plan it out, you say, okay, this is how I want my product to look like. These are the kind of textures, the colors, everything. You sit down and you plan. That is why animation studios have got storyboards. They don't just go there, design a character, and release it. It doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that. Even when it comes to business, you got to be strategic. Yeah. You know? So with 3D, you have to sit down and plan, what is it that I'm trying to achieve at the end of the day or at the end of the product? You know, what am I trying to design? So, so for those people that are trying to start out, you have to first do your research, plan it out, and then now you can execute.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of excitement if you want to create something to go straight into doing the actual work without a lot of research.
Yes.
I think I've suffered for that from that, but I think that's a really important part which shouldn't be skipped in any project that you're doing. You have to do the research. You have to find out how everything is done. Exactly.
Because that's what I do. You know, before I create anything to do with 3D, especially when it's organic characters, I do research on that person that I'm trying to create. You know, I take a look at their body structure, what's their best pose, and then if I feel like sketching, I'll sketch it out. I'm not a good drawer. Those skills came on my left side. So I'll take a lot of time to research on that same character, that same person. You know, and then boom, then I design and I execute it. And then I'll show people, what do you think before I release it? What do you think? Especially my brother say, what do you think? He's like, this looks good. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, you're not saying this because what twins? Not saying this. He's like, no, I'm serious. Then I'm going to show other people. Then,
nice. Awesome stuff. Yeah. All right, man. I think that's a lot. Yeah. I think next time we'll just bring your computer and break down everything. Yeah. And that was really helpful. I think even for me, I think I've learned a lot of things, especially when it comes to being patient, having a proper machine, and doing a lot of research and seeing what other people have done.
True.
All right. So just wrap it up back to our conversation.
Amazing. All right. Let's do it.
Man, thank you so much for the project breakdown.
You're welcome.
That was really helpful.
Amazing.
Yeah, now let's talk about just moving away from your work that you do. The Men's Conference podcast. How did that start and what inspired you?
So let me go back to how I got into social media. I hope I don't get arrested for this. But anyway, you and I are going to go down both of us are going to go down together. So
Sure. Me? Okay.
So I opened a page called Raid Zesco because at that point the load shedding was just messed up. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
So there was this campaign that was going on in America called Raid Area 51. People wanted to find out if there were actual aliens in Area 51.
Oh, yeah.
So it went so viral. So I was like, I want to create something this similar. But what am I going to create? I want to make noise. So I created Raid Zesco, and I didn't understand and I didn't know why it even went viral. So I created it. People started sharing. No, I've seen this load shedding. Even I'm going to Raid Zesco. I was like, huh?
Yeah. People started suggesting that after you created the group.
Yes. I was like, huh? This thing is real.
Yeah.
People are sharing.
Yeah.
Then in 2 days, it got about 600 people going. I was like, what is going on? Then after that, I tried to log in. I found that the account was closed.
Wait, 600 people deciding what?
Yes, they were interested in going to Raid.
Oh, so it was created like an event.
Yes. So that's how they closed the page. They closed everything. They closed the events. They closed everything. So I was like, yeah, I know who closed it. I know who closed it. At that point, I was in panic mode. I was even waiting for them to actually come knocking at my door.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So
so they did like a background research.
Of course, I'm sure they did,
Yeah.
So they closed it down and I was like, yeah, I know. So after that, I got interested. I was like, oh, okay, how do I get people's interest? That's how there was this whole men's conference going around. I saw a couple of pages being opened. I did some research. Like I said, research is very important. So I did some research. I checked that other people are not doing what men's conference is meant to do, I guess. And I decided, you know what? I was walking home. I was like, let me open my own page. Let me open a men's conference, a real men's conference Zambia page, because there are other pages out there.
Yeah.
So let me do it. So I did open. I started posting crazy memes. And then it started going viral. And Simon Moralen even shared that, they liked it. And it was crazy. It went so viral. And then at that point, the page reached about 150-something thousand. And it got hacked. That was on my bad. That was my fault.
Yeah.
Because I was new in the game.
Did you share the password or something?
Don't judge me.
Yeah.
So yes, I did. Some hacker is telling me, no, I can make you money. What? So I did that, and distribution just went down. I felt bad for some time, but I was like, you know what? I'm a man.
Yeah.
Let's get
Life
back
has
up.
to move on.
Life has to move on. I opened another page called Men's Conference Podcast. At that point, I was researching on a bit of some podcasts here and there. And I was like, let me call it Men's Conference Podcast. So when I called it Men's Conference Podcast, I even sat down with some guy. I was like, look, next year I want to open a podcast. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I want to open a podcast. I want to have this and that. I want to have discussions on men, modern day dating, self-improvement, all that I like, because it seems that the relationship culture, it's messed up.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So the guy was like, oh no, good luck. And when that year hit, a friend of mine called me up. Like, there's a guy I know who actually has a studio. He's not using it for anything. And he's told us we can use it for free. I was like, you're lying. I'm like, God. So that's how we went there. We found the studio was amazing. Like, it was clean.
Yeah.
It was just intact. And the equipment was new. So this man was like, no, you can use it for some time. And it was actually, the studio was located in Lilai. So I was like, how are we going to get here? Our place and his place is far. So how are we going to get here? Until transportation was provided. I was like, oh, okay, God. Yeah. So that's how we got into it. Went to shoot the first episode. It didn't come out quite well. Went to shoot another one. Then it came out good. But I was like, anyway, let me just post it. Let me stop being afraid.
Yeah.
So that's how we posted the first clip. I called it a test footage men's conference podcast on Twitter. The backlash we received. We received so much backlash.
Yeah.
Like, backlash was bad. I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, do I continue this?
Yeah.
Why are these people saying this? No, the government should ban podcast equipment. Why these chaps even opening a podcast? What do they know?
Yeah.
I was like, bro, look at the comments. He looked at it. He was like, that's why I'm not on Twitter. So it was crazy. But from that time, I was like, I just had to like gather up my courage and tell myself, you know what? Release another episode, release another clip. But most of them were positive. Were like, oh, where's the full clip? I was like, oh, people are asking for the full clip. Oh, okay. But at that point, we never released the full clip. So that's how we did another second shoot. We went back. We told the old man, like, yo, look at what's happening. Look at the numbers. He was like, for real? Just come back. Come back and start to shoot. You know, that's how we went back. We shot a couple of episodes. And yeah, we've been going up and up and up and up and up. It's just that right now we've taken a break because some haters decided to report our page, but we'll be back soon. We'll be back soon. Yeah. So yeah, from that time, I decided to do the Men's Conference podcast because of the dating age. A lot of people have become confused of how the dating culture is. A lot of people, but like think about it. Back then, our parents, how did they manage to sustain relationships?
Yeah,
how? But now people are asking for unnecessary things that actually don't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, if a man needs to date me, he has to have a car, he has to have a house, he has to have 6 figures, he has to work in a government and private workspace. Like, bro, what's going on? You know, so all these things. So it's what's getting also a lot of men actually depressed, you know. So a lot of men are sitting back like, so I have to have millions in order for me to date this kind of girl. Like, forget about this. I don't need this. But at the same time, it's also motivating as well. Like, in order for me to get this kind of girl, I need to work hard. And that's what the Men's Conference actually promotes, hard work. We don't put down people, we don't put down women, even though some women have got some misconceptions of the Men's Conference because some page decided to talk bad about women. But for us, we point out the red flags in both men and women, you know, and we get to navigate or guide men on how you can avoid those red flags, you know. So basically that's what the Men's Conference is all about. That's why we came up with it, because there are a lot of women podcasts or programs, I should say, but what about the men? Why in June? Men's Mental Health Month. So,
it's Men's Mental Health Month?
Exactly, yes.
Oh, for real? I didn't even know that.
Are you see? You see? So it's...
Because March is always like Women's Month,
yes.
But June is never even recognized.
It's not. So,
really? This is my first time knowing about that.
Yeah, so it's Men's Mental Health Month this whole month. And that's something that I am very passionate about. I wasn't passionate about it before until I asked a question to the guys on the Men's Conference page. I was like, guys, tell me how you're feeling, what's going on. No jokes. Let's just speak on how you're feeling. Until over 100 comments, the guys are like, I'm feeling this. I don't feel well. I feel depressed. I don't know what to do. Admin, what can we do? That sounds like, what? This is what men are going through? Yeah. It's wild, you know? So I decided to take it seriously. And yeah, from that time, we've been taking it seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been fun. It's been great.
Yeah. So you guys also bring on women and different men.
Yeah, we do.
To hear from both sides of
both sides, exactly.
Story.
We don't want to make it a woman-hating podcast. We want to also hear what women have to say, because at the same time, there's also some women that have been trying to communicate to their husbands or their boyfriends, but they're unable to do that. So they use our platform to say, okay, I want my man to do this. Because they're free to express themselves. Yeah. You know? And then when we hear that, you're like, oh, so can't you, this is what most women actually want. So we want to hear that different opinions. So when they come on the podcast, we don't force them to agree with us, or we don't disagree with them. We just have just a discussion. What is it why are relationships failing these days? What's going on? What is it that women want? What is it that men want? You know, so basically that's the whole concept of the Men's Conference podcast.
No, I've seen some clips, and I've seen that, you do really have really important conversation, and also that will spark conversations and even conflict, depending on the person who's saying that. So
True.
I think those are really important conversation, because if we become quiet again, it's like being quiet won't solve anything.
It won't
to
solve
just
anything.
make it worse. So
Exactly.
we would rather have those tough
Yes.
conversations.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's a very commendable job you're doing.
No, thank you very much.
Yeah, and now it's time for the rapid fire questions. Just to wrap it up. Are you ready?
I'm ready, bruh.
All right, let's do it. Your favorite 3D software?
Cinema 4D.
Favorite rendering software?
At this moment, Arnold. Though I haven't touched it, but Arnold.
Cool. The favorite project that you worked on?
Parts on Dakar, the 3D character design project, Parts on Dakar.
Parts on Dakar.
Yeah, stylized character. The lighting, everything just came out.
Mm-hmm.
I
I like how you describe that.
Yeah.
One way to describe your style?
Awesome. Or amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Are you a night person or a morning person?
Night person. Fully night person.
Mm-hmm. I'm the opposite. I'm a morning person.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's June now. It's getting cold. Getting pretty chilly. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rare to hear Zambians say coffee.
I used to drink tea when I was young. It's too much. I'm tired.
I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm tired. Coffee. Let's do coffee.
Yeah.
But recently I've been doing hot chocolate. Like yesterday, I ordered like about 4 hot chocolates.
4?
I've become addicted. Yes. Like it's
that's a lot.
nice. It's like I've never tasted it before.
Oh,
that feeling. Like,
that feeling.
you know? So when the first time I tasted it, I was like, damn. I need to have it more. I need to have it again. So I think after this, I'm going to have a hot chocolate.
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
Yeah.
So any exciting projects that you're working on?
There's a character project that I'm working on. It's an artist. That's I think that's what I can say for now. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
we won't tell the
artist. Yeah, I even downloaded his pictures and everything. And yeah.
Still researching and doing.
Yeah, still researching.
Awesome. Can't wait for that. Where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram and Facebook, 3DDC. Instagram and Facebook. And then somehow TikTok, but TikTok haven't really been active. But you can find me on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
3DDC.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, thank you so much for coming through.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you for coming again. Even after we did the first recording,
I know,
now we're
right?
doing it again. Yeah, but
now I didn't come for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th.
Yeah, we still have a lot more to cover.
Exactly.
All right, thank you so much for coming through. Can't wait for this to be out there.
You are welcome.
All right, let's do it.